There's a young lady here that has a phobia about being in front of the cameras. Come here, phobia. Where's phobia? She's got a phobia. She's got a phobia. You haven't got a phobia. I've just cured you of your phobia now. You haven't got a phobia anymore now. Stand there. Ladies and gentlemen, for the very first time on television anywhere in the world, top number 2 is Mr. Chuck Berry with My Ding-a-Ling. And don't forget that his ding-a-ling is a bell, what he holds at the start of the film. Don't get the wrong idea.
When I was a
I've got my mouse-type leaning post here. Boo. Very nervous she is when I go. Boo. Very nervous. Right, what do we have now, ladies and gentlemen? Papa's Rolling Stone, Temptation. Oh, hey. I happen to be in a girl cave at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. It's a girl cave. Now then, how about this then? Oh, yes, indeed. Now, this young lady will now sing to you, ladies and gentlemen. She's always laughing. She can't sing for laughing. Get behind me. Always laughing all the time. At number 12 in the chart, of course, it is Shang-a-Lang, and of course it is the wonderful Bay City Rollers. Yes, indeed. Could you, ladies and gentlemen at home, tell me whether this one here is smiling, please, because I can't see, you see. What can we say except see you next week for another edition of Top of the Pops.
See another video. I was just watching this video here, Jimmy Savile makes females look uncomfortable, and basically I found it quite funny, you know, like amusing, you know, like the sort of antics what he's doing. Obviously this is sort of like to tie in with the pedo idea, you know, the pedo thing with Jimmy Savile. But in reality, this is quite amusing, you know, what he gets up to when he's on this particular video. You know, interesting thing about him, of course you get like the evil and horrific people, right? He was a pervert, right? Predator. And as you see this one here, right, as an example, right? Now this is going to be a Masonic shield, right? So see, he was a pervert, that's a fact, right? But of course it isn't actually a fact, because you know, like Jimmy Savile was not found guilty of any criminal charges, right? So it's not a fact that he was a pervert, right? It's at best in a guess, you know, and at worst like a downright lie, right? But as you see, this whole thing ties in with the idea that there's people who are in a position, right, who are like a network, right, a pedos network and all this. As you see there, another comment by got to be another Masonic, right? It was of its time and so was he. It was a freak or pervs, the 70s. Like, you know, the 70s was not pervs, you know, it was you know, like more, there was more touchy-feeliness, right? There was more affection stuff. You know, like people used to pat kids on the head and stuff like that. There was more touchy-feeliness, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, see? But again, it's tying in with the demonisation of the era and the old-fashioned society, right? And also given the idea of this network of people in power who are doing this pedos network, right? So basically, what they're doing, right, is to deal with this, right? Yeah. So what they're trying to do is actually create the moral decay and do away with natural affection, you know, like the people had, right? So people don't trust each other, you know, in any way, shape or form, right? Paul warns that people will become lovers of their own selves. You know, that obviously you could interpret that in a number of different ways, right? But this thing, right? So basically that Savile psyop and all the rest of it, one's associated was to try and bring this about, right? Because when they're trying to bring about this sort of dystopian society, what they want, right, for all the peasants and that, right, they want a distrust of the state, like the government, and they want people to be afraid of the state and government and royal people and all that, right? So it's to do with this. So of course this one is exactly the same, part of the same little psyop what they're doing. Where basically, right, they want to remain relevant in people's minds. Right? So like, see, in the recent times, like, people haven't given so much of a stuff, if you like, about these, right? Don't care about them so much, you're not bothered, like, type of thing, the support for them and the interest in them has really went down, like, no one cares now, type of thing, right? Including probably their own Masonics and all that, so there's some of the children of Masonics and all that, right? So basically this brings back a relevance, or in people's minds, it introduces the idea of them into people's minds. So they want people to talk about this stuff in a gossip way, right? Because they wish to remain relevant as rulers in people's minds, right? And it's a danger of, like, people just forgetting about these altogether. If you forget that these exist, you forget there's a supposed ruler over you and all that. See, so they wish to remain relevant in people's minds by doing this. And they can't do it by the love way. People loving them and that. Like, God bless the Queen and all that. Like, a lot of people seem to be genuinely think the Queen was great, but obviously no one really likes the King Charles one, Yeah. So it's like they're trying to, if they can't have the love of the people, they'll have the hate of the people, but they wish to remain relevant in their minds, as ruler. See, if people forget about these, they forget that there's a supposed rulers in them. Of course, there's the inclusion of the word lodge to basically, tell you who's behind the psyop. And the one lies in his mindset, the one this in people's minds. Again, this tale of the pedo network, right? Distracts from mass immigration, which is basically the whole reason for why they're doing that psyop at this time. So here's Radio 1 in 1970s. There's like the DJ's crew and all that from the 1970s. And there's the Radio 1 presenters from 2021. So you can see why, the demonization of the white man's pedo network. Obviously to bring in a new multicultural society.